What's up everybody, it's Man of Low Moral Fiber here, my name's Luke, and in this video I'm going to be running through Digistruct Peak with overpowered level 8 Maya, using my Blurred Trickster build. I said I was going to get this video out a lot sooner than I did, but I was kind of dreading doing commentary for a 40-minute run, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. So this is going to be my run through Digistruct Peak with Maya, full commentary version. I am going to be using the B shield a lot more in this video than I did in my last video, but that's just because it's very easy to keep your B up with the Blurred Trickster build, and also in the Digistruct Peak area where you have quite a few open spaces and ways to create line of sight diversions and obstructions so that you won't even have any real issues keeping your B shield up at all. In fact, I don't think my B shield drops in this first area one bit, if I remember correctly. It's been a little bit since I actually did this run, so we'll see how much of it I can remember and everything. If I remember correctly though, it went very well and I didn't end up going down, so that's pretty cool, and that's kind of what I shoot for when I do a Digistruct Peak run. It does encourage me to play a little bit more cautiously and defensively than is necessary, but it's, an added little challenge you can put for yourself to make it a little bit more fun. So I got the first spawn configuration here where there are going to be 2 surveyors that spawn at the gate and then 3 shock nomads that spawn underneath them. So I'm going to use phase lock to take out the second surveyor there. I was able to get the first surveyor with just Pimpernel shots, and that was pretty cool. Now I'm going to have to deal with these shock nomads. I threw a transfusion grenade just in case one of them jumped up and got some damage on me before I was prepared. I would have those transfusion heals coming, but I didn't end up needing them. So now these guys have jumped up right on top of one another now. That kind of happens, and it makes them very easy to take out with both chain reaction, which I'm using now, and bore, which I used with 0. So that makes those guys actually pretty easy to take out if you can coerce them to jump up on that little ledge and stand basically in the same spot. And that's pretty cool and is an easy way to take those guys out. Not that you really need it because those guys are fairly easy on their own. Now I've got the spawn configuration where nothing spawns in the first half of this room here, and there's going to be a constructor that spawns up on the ridge up there. So I do believe I'm using my corrosive Bone of the Ancients relic, and I'm also going to be using my corrosive Pimpernel, and we're going to try to take out this constructor without any issues. However, there will also be several other enemies that spawn here, and so it can be rather difficult. I did go ahead and phase lock that Spiderant over there, so that I would get wrecked to try to hit the Constructor. And that makes it a little bit faster to take out the Constructor. Obviously with a Pimpernel and B though, you shouldn't really have too many issues taking him out. Went ahead and phase locked this little guy here and killed him. Now I'm going to have to deal with this Slag Centurion Spiderant. Now these guys aren't quite as bad as they are with 0. Because, or at least melee 0, because I'm not really ever going to get slagged by them too much, and if I do, I don't really have to worry too bad about it because I'll only be taking, the significantly increased damage, but I won't have to worry about killing myself with the Chain Lightning Grenade because I'm obviously not stripping my shield for roid purposes. I also find that these Spiderant sappers are a lot less annoying with Maya because you can phase lock them and not allow them to get back underground, which they often do to me when I'm playing melee 0, and I find it quite irritating. Use my Fire Pimpernel to take out these 2 little mobs here. Just a small Skag and a small Spiderant. Obviously we're working towards Scorch here, and once we get Scorch we'll try to kill it efficiently and properly as well. This particular spawn configuration, once you get past the Constructor and until you get to Scorch, is usually pretty easy. So now we have Scorch coming. I'm going to go ahead and put on my Shock Bone of the Ancient relic just to give me a little bit more damage against these 2 guys here. Scorch is a pretty tough enemy, and Digistruct Scorch has quite a bit more health than Scorch in the main game does. And because of that, I take him pretty seriously. I don't end up killing either Scorches in that first phase lock, however I did significantly weaken them both. And I was able to kill the first one before he got any damage on me. I guess I didn't weaken this one as much as I thought I did. However, I was able to kill him in the second phase lock. So now we'll be moving on. It looked like it dropped a overpower level 6 Hellfire there for us. Not too great, but a legendary nonetheless. Obviously all of these Digistruct Peak bosses are going to have legendary drops that are the same as they are in the main game. They won't happen all the time, but they do happen pretty often. And if you run through Digistruct Peak enough, I'm sure you'll end up getting some legendaries from all of these mini-bosses. Now this is one of the more difficult sections with Maya. This is the Dukino's mom section. I do go ahead and scoot over here just in case Dukino's mom spawns right away, and that way I'll have that wall to hide behind. I'm going to go ahead and re-equip my Corrosive Bone of the Ancients because I don't need my Shock one for this area, and the Corrosive one will benefit me more. Now, Dukino's mom isn't spawning at first. We've got the spawn configuration where we get a bunch of horned skags before Dukino's mom spawns, and then once Dukino's mom spawned, we won't have any mini mobs to get a second wind off of. So we're going to have to deal with Dukino's mom, you know, definitely in a way that we are not going to die. This is actually my, you know, there's only 2 spawn configurations here, but this is the one I dislike. I actually like the one where the midgets spawn and Dukino's mom spawns right away as well, because that way if you go down to Dukino's mom, you have an easy way to get a second wind. Whereas this is just a way to waste a little bit of ammo and time before Dukino's mom spawns. It's not really, you know, difficult or anything like that, but it's not really gonna help you out either, whereas the midgets actually could help you out. So I'm going to aim for criticals here, use my B-shield to deal extra damage to Dukino's mom, obviously. If I do get criticals, which are right in her mouth, I'll deal extra damage. That's how critical hits work, you guys know that. And I think I get pretty good behavior from her here where she does a lot of this walking around instead of actually doing her shock orb attack, which is very, very dangerous. Now, I preemptively throw some slag transfusion grenades just in case she gets a little wily on us, because I don't want those shock orbs to come and me not have a way to recover my health and end up getting killed by those. So I just preemptively throw some of these when I think she might be getting ready for a shock orb, that way I can have some transfusion heals coming. However, this is one of those times where she behaved very, very well, and I was able to kill her, I think, before any shock orbs were ever released. So that's pretty cool there. And I was actually able to keep my B-shield up for the whole fight, made it a little bit easier. However, I did use quite a bit of ammo during that, so I'm going to run through here, see if any ammo dropped. She didn't drop any ammo for us, it didn't look like. She's kind of a rude bitch like that. But we'll be moving on into the next area now. Now this is the Black Queen area, and it can actually have a number of different spawn configurations. We're getting the one right now where the 2 Black Queens spawn right away. So what I'm going to do is try to phase lock one of them while they're back there, use Chain Reaction and the Fire Pimpernel and B to deal a lot of damage to them. Keep in mind, if you damage them without killing them, they will summon a number of little minions, and those can be kind of tough. Now I am down to only 21 rounds of ammunition left. I remember this part being a little bit sketchy. I have a very healthy Slag Centurion over here, and I also have a Black Queen who's trying to lower my B-shield and irritate me a little bit, while I have very little ammo. However, we are going to kill this Slag Centurion ant, and I think she drops a little bit of ammo for us. Or no, we got a little bit of ammo, I guess, that I didn't receive earlier from Dukino's mom or one of those skags. So now I have the Black Queen here. I have 17 rounds of ammunition, so I'm going to make sure I put those all right on the critical spot where the child bomblets are going to hit the critical spot as well. And that Black Queen died very, very quickly and also dropped us some ammo. So we're going to be able to get through this Black Queen section pretty easily now. Obviously this isn't the fastest way to take out the Black Queen or anything like that. But, you know, it's still fun to play through with this Blurred Trickster build. So, we're moving through now. We've got multiple different spider ants to kill now before we can move on. Kill the sapper there because it can apply damage over time and it's more dangerous than those mini minions. Definitely watch out for all of the damage over time appliers because obviously we're playing at overpower level 8 and damage over time can be one of the most devastating and potentially dangerous things. I like to sometimes scoot a little bit back here through this gate when fighting these spider ants because they always launch these parabolic webs and other, you know, projectiles and stuff like that. And if you stay behind the gate there, oftentimes a lot of those projectiles will get caught on the gate and you'll be just fine. Kill the slag one, and then Chain Reaction ended up killing the baby one as well. Back up to 28 rounds of ammo, and I think we might have maybe a few more spider ants to kill, and then we'll probably open some chests before moving on to the Bonehead area. Excellent. So that got us up to 73 rounds of sniper rifle ammo, and maybe there's some more on the ground over here. Awesome. All the way up to 85 now, or 75 rather. Maybe I was a little bit wrong on my initial estimate there. Anywho, I think I said 73 when I only had 63. Please forgive me. Now, this particular area can be very dangerous. You can get multiple different spawn configurations, and if you're not prepared, they can all be potentially dangerous. We have the one right now where there are several rats and other enemies spawning right away, and then we'll eventually get to Bonehead after that. Other spawn configurations that can occur include multiple turrets on the train that just passed up there. The train will stop in there, and those turrets will have pretty good line of sight on you for most of this area, not all of this area, mind you. And you'll have to find a place where those turrets do not have a line of sight on you, or find a way to kill them without them killing you. I always like to come over towards this right side room, because I think it's a little bit safer than the left side of this particular room. I'm going to go ahead and mess with some of these onions. And then I'm going to pick up the carrots as well, but I'm just going to back away. Obviously, these will kill you if you're too close to them, so definitely don't die to that. Don't pull the carrots if you don't know how to back away, because if you go down solo, there's probably not going to be a way for you to get back up, because there are no enemies nearby or anything like that, so definitely be a dumb move. It looks like there are a couple guys way over there, and I'll try to kill them. We also have a Bonehead very nearby, so I'm going to get my corrosive Pimpernel out and get ready to deal with this Bonehead. Now, obviously, when I'm playing through with Sniper Zero on Digistruct Peak, Bonehead's one of the most important enemies, because he's the guy I pre-stat Critical Ascension on to deal with Dark Mercy and then the Assassins, which are the two hardest parts of playing through with Sniper Zero. So, Bonehead isn't really that difficult to take out with the Pimpernel or anything like that, but obviously he's a significant enemy when I am using Pimpernels, because of that particular reason. He's not necessarily very significant when playing with Maya, but it's important to remember that he can throw and actually kind of spam damage over time grenades, and you can get a spawn configuration where 3 spawn at once, and if they're all throwing damage over time grenades at you, you can end up in some trouble. So watch out for that. Gonna go ahead and finish this guy off. Now retreat to my other side of this map, or this little area of the map, so that I will be protected as all of these other enemies spawn. Looks like we've got a surveyor or two, and also some loaders, including more Boneheads. Gonna phase lock this sergeant loader and take him out right quick. Also over here, that's really good about this side is it will often encourage the surveyors to either kill themselves or get kind of stuck, and either way works really well. Now there is an ultimate badass loader over there that I just noticed. I remember him kind of sneaking up on me, and I was thinking that if he had already started his gunfire before I had saw him, I would have been in some real trouble. Luckily, the damage over time from them often does this 1 damage over time tick as opposed to an actual damage over time. Otherwise they would be even more dangerous than they already are, and they are a pretty dangerous enemy to begin with, so that would have been bad news. Alright, so now we have just a few more enemies to take out here, including a Bonehead, and then probably some more loaders way back over there where I first killed those Nomads and other Psycho over there. Not Psycho, Marauder, excuse me. There is an RPG loader over there. Depending on what kind of rocket he had, he could be very dangerous. More loaders are spawning, so I'm going to use my phase lock on this guy. Go ahead and take him out before he flies away. Looks like we also have a shock nomad over there. And I just, like I said, use this particular area of cover because most enemies are going to spawn on that side. And I'll use this to protect myself and pick off these enemies from afar with a Pimpernel. That shock nomad could be pretty dangerous, so we'll have to watch out for him. Gonna go ahead and slag him real quick. I didn't think his shock orbs were gonna be able to get to me, but they were, and so that's something to watch out for there. I did throw a slag transfusion grenade so that I could get my health back while I kill this ROUS. That's a reference, I believe, to The Princess Bride, Rodents of Unusual Size, and that's pretty cool because The Princess Bride is an awesome movie. If you hadn't seen it yet, I'd recommend checking it out. We're going to pick up this Shock Blaster Nomad now, take him out as well. Now we are really low on ammo, so I'm going to open some chests, but as I open these chests, I am not going to pick up the ammo from them. That is because I want all of these chests to have weighted sniper rifle and grenade drops, so that hopefully I can get to max sniper rifle and grenade ammo. So I'm just going to go around and open all the chests while I am really low on sniper rifle ammo and really low on grenade ammo as well. Once I've opened the last chest, I'm going to start picking them up, and they should all have, you know, multiple sniper rifle or multiple grenade ammo in them, or maybe a combination of both. And that works out really well for me, and it's how I'm able to manage my ammo in this particular area. Because obviously I'm using strictly a Pimpernel, and also making liberal use of the slag transfusion grenades for both slagging and healing. Obviously I'm all the way up to max ammo now, so I don't really need to worry about looking in any of these other chests. Now we're going to jump down into the Doc Mercy area. This area can be a little bit tough, the terrain is kind of tricky, and Doc Mercy can actually be a little bit more dangerous than people give him credit for. And also, some enemies can spawn on these roofs and bridges over there, and they can be very irritating because they won't jump down and they'll be raining shots on you that might apply a damage over time from above. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my Fire Bone of the Ancients now while I take out what will be primarily flesh enemies and, you know, wildlife, which are weak to fire. Once I get my phase lock back, I'm going to go ahead, turn around, take off that skag right there. Excellent. Now we're going to get our first Doc Mercy spawn, but we're also going to get a couple enemies spawning up here on the roof. These are both psychos though, so they'll jump down pretty quickly and not bother us too bad. Going to pick up the first of the Doc Mercies there. Use Chain Reaction and the Pimpernel to deal a lot of damage to both Doc Mercies. Had to eventually quit looking at them though, in order to kill this psycho over here that had charged up on me. We're going to go ahead and kill that Doc Mercy right quick with the, you know, benefit of wreck from phase locking the other Doc Mercy, and then I killed the second Doc Mercy as well. You see what I say about the enemies sometimes not jumping down from the bridge in a reasonable amount of time? Now that he did though, phase lock him and take him out from afar. Only one more Marauder to take out now, and then we can move on to the next area, which will be the Assassins. Generally one of the harder parts of Digistruct Peak. Alright. I'd say Doc Mercy is more or less the midpoint as well. If we think about how many areas there are before this, I'll count them real quick. There's the first area, the Scorch area, the Dukino's mom area, then the Black Queen, and then, Bonehead. Had trouble remembering his name right quick. And after the Doc Mercy area, there is the Assassins, Saturn's area, the RPG loader area, the final area before Oh My God What the Hell, and then Oh My God What the Hell. And so because of that, Doc Mercy is more or less the default midpoint or de facto midpoint of this map. And once you get past the Assassins, usually it's pretty smooth sailing after that. I consider the Assassins to be pretty damn tough. Almost no matter what build you're using, you know, they're still one of the tougher parts. It's definitely very spawn dependent too. If you get a good spawn, they can be kind of trivial, you know, or at least a little bit easier, or I should say a lot easier than they are if you get the really tough spawn, which is definitely a possibility. I do go ahead and switch to my inflammable bee shield as I approach this area because of Assassin Wreath. Or I guess I switched to my Antagonist, not sure why. Like I said, it's been a minute since I did the run. Again, right now I'm doing the thing where I open all the chests before picking up any ammo from them, just in case the game sees that I'm close to full on sniper rifle ammo and doesn't want to grant me any more after that. There's also a little iridium box here that you can pull, and I did that because it also is going to contain some ammo. I think the reason I have the Antagonist on is because I'm going to switch to the bee shield once I get Wreath phase locked, and that will just make it a little bit safer. Because you can get hit by Wreath, and then if Roof is spawned already as well, you can get into some real trouble there. So I was able to get to max grenade ammo and max sniper rifle ammo again, and that's a good thing to get to before entering the Assassin's area, because like I said, it is very difficult. Go ahead and make sure I'm reloaded on all my guns because this area can be a chore. Made sure I had my shock bone of the ancients applied so that I would be able to kill Wreath fairly easily. So I am getting the spawn where Wreath and Roof spawn at the same time, I believe, and that can be very dangerous. So now I'm going to switch to the inflammable bee, take out Assassin Wreath real quick, and then I can start concentrating on the other enemies. Switching back to the Antagonist now. Looks like we have a Spiderant Sapper and some other enemies about. Oh, I guess it was Assassin Watt that spawned, not Assassin Wreath. This pipe area is a good place to hide, however it can also be a bad place to hide because the texture on it isn't quite right, and it can block your shots even though it looks like you're aiming past it, and you can just waste some ammo that way. Got this Spiderant Sapper phase locked. Go ahead and kill him. That will activate my kill skills and give me a little bit of survivability here, which I definitely needed because Watt applied a shock damage over time to me, which is awfully irritating. I definitely should have switched to a grounded B shield here because obviously he's always going to have a shock weapon, and that can be very, very dangerous. Or at least I think he always has a shock weapon. He has one often enough that it is a big irritant for me. I'm going to switch back to my grounded, or I guess inflammable B shield, and my fire bone of the ancients so that I can take out Assassin Watt before he applies too much more damage over time to me and ends up killing me. So that's good. Switch back to the Antagonist now. The super badass loader's Ion Blast got blocked by the pipe there, and that was really nice. Now we're just going to have Roof and One to take out. And they can also both be pretty tough. Roof does this annoying thing where he jumps at the player and can be very difficult to avoid. Obviously, One usually spawns with a pretty powerful shotgun, and he has a bunch of health. So, watch out for these two guys because you definitely don't want to die once you've got the hard part of the assassins done, because these guys will be very hard to second wind off of. They do have quite a bit of health. I'm not too worried about burning through my ammo here. There are 2 ammo boxes, and if, we manage to beat these guys, there is an ammo vending machine right around the corner, so that will work out pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and apply a B shield so that I can kill these guys, and that's pretty good there. Excellent. Now I can move on to the next area. I guess I wanted to check their drops real quick. I'm not too worried about picking up ammo from them because obviously there is an ammo vending machine right here. Now this particular area can take a long time with Maya because the double Saturns that are going to spawn are obviously kind of meat shields. They're not made out of meat, so I guess you'd say they're kind of robot shields with a lot of health, or armor shields, whatever you want to call them. And what I do to fight them with Maya is usually just retreat to that ammo station that I was just at. Now I did go ahead and phase lock an enemy, which will activate chain reaction and make it really easy to take out that spider tank. The spider tanks can actually be rather potentially dangerous if you don't kill them quickly. They do have some offensive firepower, but obviously with chain reaction and bore, they are very easy to take out. I definitely want to take out this super badass shield surveyor before anything gets going with him. This horned skag is trying to take my B shield down and just be an overall irritant to me. So I'm going to phase lock him and take him out real quick before he becomes a problem. Now we also have a Spiderant Sapper up there, and it looks like probably a Psycho as well. Take out the Surveyor that's shielding the Sapper, and then we'll go ahead and deal with this Maniac. Obviously, we do not want to kill the last enemy in this area when we're down on the second level without a way to get quickly up to the top level here, because Saturn will be a big chore to deal with down there. It would be really nice if they would release, like a little pup skag or something like they do in the Arid Badlands when you first meet Saturn, because it would make Saturn a lot easier to take out. Because we could phase lock that, activate chain reaction, and then get a lot of good chain reaction between Saturn and his, hip and shoulder turrets. However, all you get to fight is 2 Saturns, and obviously they are not phase lockable. So they can actually be really, really tough to take out with Maya. And you'll just have to be patient. Luckily, you don't have to worry about running out of ammo, especially if you're right in that ammo vending machine area. I failed to take out this Centurion Ant in the phase locked time, but I was still able to take him out, so that was good. Phase lock the Hornskag here, kill it, and then we can deal with whatever enemies might be left down here before Saturn will spawn.
Hold it.
Got a Spitter Skag, deal with him real quick. And now Saturn is spawning. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat all the way over to this area where there is this shed, because it will protect me not only from Saturn's lasers, but also his kamikaze surveyors, which are very, very dangerous. Got my corrosive bone of the ancient on, so I'm going to go ahead and start dealing damage to the Saturns. With the B shield, it's going to deal quite a bit of damage. I can alternate sides like this to give myself clear shots before these surveyors start arriving and getting in my line of sight and stuff. Like I said, there are quicker ways to deal with these enemies. This is just the way I'm going to deal with these enemies because, I wanted to stay with my Blurred Trickster build the whole time and not use the B-Hawk. Granted, the B-Pimp isn't really that much less cheap than the B-Hawk, but I wanted to do the whole things with the Pimpernel just because, it was something that I had as a goal in mind, and I figured it would be fun to do. So I've got the first Saturn more or less to halfway done. As you can see, those kamikaze surveyors that they do are really common when you come over here. I think it kind of encourages them to display that behavior because a lot of their other attacks they realize will be useless. But at the same time, those kamikaze surveyors are also going to be rather useless because they're just going to hit this wall over and over again. Even though you cannot bore the little shoulder turrets and stuff, still aiming at a place where the Pimpernel is going to deal damage to both the shoulder turret and hip turrets as well as Saturn is a pretty good idea, and I think it increases your DPS on Saturn. Got the first one down to probably 10% health now, and we're going to go ahead and finish him off. Once he's finished off, it will be a little bit easier to take out the second one, because he should have a minute amount of damage dealt to him already, and also will have half of the kamikaze surveyors to deal with. So that's good. I'm just playing extra cautious. You don't want to go down in this particular time because it would be very, very difficult to get a second wind. Taking out about a quarter of his health now, that's pretty good. Getting closer to half health now. And like I said, I'm just going to wear this Saturn down from the safety of this little ammo hut. Not the most exciting Saturn strategy, but a Saturn strategy nonetheless, and a very effective one. Very safe one as well, I should mention. After the Saturn area, we're going to approach the RPG loader area, which can be pretty difficult depending on how many RPG loaders you get, what kind of RPGs they're going to spawn with, and basically, your preparation and luck as to where you are as to when they spawn. So we finished off Saturn now. I'm going to go ahead and buy ammo. Make sure after you finish Saturn, you wait until all of these kamikaze surveyors have killed themselves, because you could walk out of here while there are still some kamikaze surveyors in the air and die actually after you've killed Saturn, which would be a huge bummer. Taking this time between areas to go ahead and make sure all of my Pimpernels are reloaded. You can see the remnants of a Saturn there, and that's because we killed it, which is good. Now, this next area, the transition to this next area, has this little hallway, and once you open the gate at the end of the hallway, the gate at the front of this hallway is going to close. So you can't retreat all the way back to the Saturn area. However, this little space here makes a good spot for retreating if you're approaching this next area and need a little bit of time to survive.
Spider tank,
Got a rabid skag up there. Slag him, switch to the fire pimpernel. Deal some damage to him. If he gets too close, we're obviously going to phase lock him. I guess I decided he was too close, and I was able to kill that Spiderant over there with chain reaction, and that was good. Like I said, I'm going to use this little hallway here to draw some enemies into where I know that I won't be taking fire or damage from other enemies that are about. Got the spider tank there. I don't have anything to phase lock right now because he's way over there and there are no other enemies around him, unfortunately. See if any of these transfusion grenades come back to me because I'm obviously going to need them. Just using my B shield to go ahead and take out this spider tank now. Like I said, they are very offensively potentially dangerous, so watch out for them. Get them slagged, go ahead and take him out. Excellent. Now once we've got him taken out, the rest of the area should be rather easy. You can also get a spawn where there are going to be multiple turrets up on this little ledge here. And that little hallway back there is a great place to hide from them as well. I used chain reaction to get some damage on that bar tank there. I wasn't able to all the way kill him, but it was able to push him pretty close, and he's almost dead now. Gonna go ahead and kill this little horned skag. Then I'll kill the bar tank, and we will be more or less done with this area after that, I believe. Apply slag to him with the slag pimp, switch to the corrosive pimp, finish him off. Oh, still more enemies spawning actually, including some surveyors.
Hold it right there.
This is also a good place to hide from surveyors where I am right now.
Throwing grenade.
Sergeant Loader over there looks like he, or at least it sounds like he has some sniper rifles, so he might be able to damage us from far away. So I'll be pretty cautious when dealing with him. Killed that Warloader I could barely see. Now I just have a Digistruct Marauder over there. Trying to phase lock him, but he's being very hard to phase lock. Damn, this spawn is actually quite extensive. It has multiple enemies. I call this area the RPG loader area, but I don't think we've had any RPG loaders during this particular run of it. So maybe I'll need to think of a new name for it. However, I do consider it to be most annoying in this area when you do get multiple RPG loaders to spawn and stuff. We have a cannibal rat over there. Need to go ahead and take him out, probably with phase lock because they move around pretty violently and stuff like that, and are pretty difficult to hit with a pimp, especially at range. So now we're done with this area. I'm going to go ahead and open these ammo boxes right here because they might be very useful in the next area, which is the second to last area, believe it or not. For some reason I had remembered there being an ammo box or two over there, but there are not. There are, however, some ammo boxes up here on this platform. If you really need it though, there is an ammo vending machine in the next room. It's just at the end of the next room, and it might not be a good idea to try to run there past all of the enemies that will spawn as soon as you jump down from this ledge. However, I'm going to have more than enough ammo to get through this next area, I'm guessing. Actually able to max my sniper rifle ammo there and get within one of max grenade ammo, which is pretty good. Make sure I have my grounded bee on, I guess. Nope, switching to the Antagonist and keeping my corrosive Bone of the Ancients on. I know that in this area you can get some spawns that are a real kick in the teeth as you're approaching the end of this map. This one isn't that bad though. It's the one where you get multiple exploders to all spawn at the same time. And that's how it starts at least, so I'm going to go ahead, take out the exploders, end up dealing with the rest of the enemies that spawn after this, and then we'll be on our way to the final boss of Digistruct Peak. Oh my god, what the hell. Now if you do get a bunch of surveyors that spawn, you can retreat up to this area up here, and the surveyors will eventually kill themselves, which usually works out to be pretty funny. We are getting 2 surveyors and a warloader spawning right now though, so I'm going to go ahead and phase lock one of those because they are both repair surveyors, which means they'll both pretty much automatically attack me. Luckily though, I was able to kill them both, and now I can concentrate on the warloader that is down there. Alright, and that's the end of this particular map. Or room of this map, I guess I should say. And that's pretty good because you can get some really irritating spawns there. I've actually got it to where multiple ultimate badass surveyors spawn, or badass repair surveyors. I'm not exactly sure what their exact title is, but then when they're both launching 3 shock orbs at you, you can get into some real trouble down there. We're on our way to Oh My God What the Hell, and I have actually not fought Oh My God What the Hell very many times with Maya, and so because of that, I'm not exactly sure what I'd recommend is the best strategy for this guy. And so what I do is basically just play really cautiously, bide my time, and end up eventually wearing this guy down. Throw in my slag transfusion grenades when I'm feeling threatened, and otherwise just kind of sneaking around on him, and eventually lowering his shield. As always, guys, I thank, or not his shield, his health bar. As always, guys, I thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, please do so. I'd really appreciate that. This fight is going to take me just a little bit of time because I'm not using my B shield. I don't know exactly his movements and patterns because, you know, oftentimes I try to kill him in one shot or very close to that with melee or sniper zero. And so, because of that, I'm not really versed on what his actual mechanics are and stuff like that. So, that's why I'm using the Antagonist, just kind of playing it slow and playing very cautiously as well. Probably taking out a fifth or 20% of his health now, getting close to a quarter of the way done. Like I said, I'm playing very, very cautiously. I know that you could use a B and rip through this guy pretty quick and stuff like that, but I wanted to be as careful as I could and not die on this last stage, you know, after a pretty successful run before this. That shock damage over time he applies is awfully annoying, but you can get around it. It's very lucky that they do apply us with this excellent building for cover, otherwise this fight could be a lot more difficult. Watch out for those heat seeker missiles. I'd say just be moving and be very close to the door, or not door, the building as he's firing those, otherwise they have a good chance of dealing quite a bit of damage to you. Got him down below halfway health now, and that's pretty good. The preemptive slag transfusion grenades are obviously slagging him for me, but also providing healing just in case I'll need it. I am down to only 5 of those left, but that's good because I've got him below half health. Obviously, Maya loses DPS, though, when you get an enemy to half health, so it's going to be the more difficult portion of this fight. The second portion will be. I very much don't like that that damage over time that applies when his fire bullets hit you. Basically just works as a way to increase your shield recharge delay by quite a bit. Now that I am below the ammo capacity with the Bone of the Ancients, I'm going to switch back to that. I was using a stockpile ammo relic before that so that I could have a lot more shots to fire on this guy. Now that I have the corrosive Bone of the Ancient applied, though, my DPS is increased quite a bit. You know, it does add quite a bit of corrosive damage, but also I'll have Wreck more often, or not Wreck, excuse me, Ruin for slagging this guy. Obviously Wreck cannot be activated against him because they do not include any little minions. I only have 1 grenade left now, so I know that I'm going to need to kill him pretty quickly. That was the last of my slag transfusion grenades, so I'm going to have to kill this guy pretty much, you know, now or never. Luckily, he's down to approximately 10% health left, I'd say. Just use the Pimpernel, and you'll eventually wear this guy down. He's not invincible by any means. Excellent. Sorry, I'm yawning. Oh, my own video has made me tired. Anywho, we've made it through now. This guy will just take a couple more shots and he'll be dead. We'll see what kind of pearlescent weapon I got from this particular run, and then I'll show you the gear and skill build I used. Obviously, the build I was using was my Blurred Trickster Maya build. I'll go ahead and make that build available in the save file that save file available in the description of this video. As always, guys, like I mentioned, I thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, please do so. Otherwise, I hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.